Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, happy Friday to you. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to have some philosophical conversations, maybe some, I don't know, sharing space for the panel to develop should that happen. And in the meantime, what I want to talk about today is the power of a positive mindset. Something that it's, excuse me, it's really easy to know these things and to know of things, but to truly know it within our inner being, sometimes it takes some time and intention to truly understand things. And mostly it probably takes a reason. Takes a reason to want to know different things. And I had a reason in my life. I had many reasons in my life to learn how to have a positive mindset. My life path gave me many opportunities, particularly over the past 6 years, to really figure out, how do you stay positive when the world just, people are lined up, it seems, to kick you in the balls? How do you stay positive when the world just seems to be conspiring against you? And why would you stay positive? Well, in my experience, if I don't stay positive, I crumble. I got sick of crumbling. I got tired of feelings of worthlessness, of hopelessness. I got sick and tired of not being happy, sincerely. And so I finally found within myself, I found the reasons and the intentions within myself to figure out how to be happy. And along my path of development, when I first got into coaching, first started looking into psychology, started thinking I had everything figured out, or once I started thinking I was figuring things out, I knew I felt a call within myself to try and help others, to try and offer encouragement and inspiration that I'd never seen in my life, right? And so I know there's a lot of other people living similar lives as me where, they were brought up with caring people who cared genuinely, and they offered them, the best that they knew. But the actual idea and belief that you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to, I've heard that stuff said, but I didn't really see people in my life encouraging me with that belief. And after I finally overcame that excuse, I realized, hey, so what? I can do it for me. I can be the motivation. I can be the inspiration. I can be the one who encourages me to do better. And then while I'm doing it, I can do the same thing for others. So when I started looking into life coaching and, some of the different methods that people use for healing, helping, mentoring, my first website was, it's not published, but the first web domain I invested in was Living Positive Now. I wanted living positive, but it was that was taken. Turns out that's associated for folks dealing with with the AIDS virus, living positive. The living positive now, when I started really thinking about it, that was not the truth. Positivity is a great part of success or failure. Positivity, it's what really separates leaders. And that's something when I was going through my education and the coaching, I came across John Boggs, I think is his name. He does a lot of great coaching with businesses and stuff. He gave some real beautiful presentations on leadership. Leadership. When I heard those things, I was like, yeah, that's what I know. That's my calling. My purpose is to help other leaders become better and to help other people maybe become leaders for themselves. That's what my heart and my purpose is within me. So, which reminds me, I know it gets a little chaotic here on the stream, and I'm not always sure how what I'm trying to offer is coming across. However, if there are those viewing today in the future, if you do feel a calling that you're curious, what could it be like to work with someone like Jack? As far as a friend and mentor trying to help you grow in your path as a life coach, as a someone who's committed to helping you succeed and grow. If you have interest in that, I'm very easily reached. In the description of my videos is a link tree, and within that is all the other social medias. Reach out to me. We can have a private conversation, discuss what is available and what you might be hoping to achieve. And if you have any interest in that, please feel free to reach out. Today, though, the topic, power of a positive mindset. It was inspired by many things. And Henry, bless you, man. Thank you. Happy Friday to you as well. One of the things that inspired me earlier today, well, of course, besides the thumbnail, let's get into that. I love this quote. Our lives are not determined by what happens to us, but by how we react to what happens. Not by what life brings to us, but by the attitude we bring to life. A positive attitude causes a chain reaction of positive thoughts, events, and outcomes. It is a catalyst, okay? A positive attitude, a positive mindset, it is a catalyst, a spark that creates extraordinary results. It's absolutely the truth. Chris, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, that link tree link is found in the description down below the video. And if you feel interested, reach out. Greetings and friends. Insight on repetitive resets by same tactics. Fascinating. May check that out later. Thank you. I'll open it and interesting. For those interested, the link in the chat there is not very long. The video is not long. So here, this is what I did. It's sometimes some of the things I point out or I get excited to share, it really is kind of obvious, and many people may know it's obvious, but this is where it goes back to what I was saying. There's levels to our knowing, levels to our comprehension, and there's levels to actually how efficiently, how effectively do we apply what we know. this idea of having a positive mindset, it really is kind of obvious and simple. Hey, Henry, absolutely, my friend. You are always a welcome conversation, and I'm opening up for the panel. Um, I'm playing today again by ear. Um, it's the Friday evening, Friday afternoon. Here where I'm at in Spokane, we got an Arctic front moving in, or whatever it is they call it. I think we got up to a high today of 6 degrees. Yeah, got a high of 6 degrees today. That's Fahrenheit for those who may not. um, Supposed to be down below zero here for the next few days over the weekend. Makes it a bitter cold. Makes it tough to survive. Myself is fine. I have the blessings of shelter and accommodation. I've got safety and everything I need. But there's a lot of folks in my community, folks who I don't know, and they don't know me. But I know there's a lot of folks out there who are struggling in this cold. And here where I'm at, even the perspective of that, the folks in my local area struggling in the cold, unfortunately, that's nothing compared to what many other men and women are dealing with today. The state of the world, brothers and sisters, the state of this world right now, it can make that in itself, the current state of what is happening, it can challenge you right there. Can you have a positive mindset with what you learn in the world? A positive mindset. Here, let's compare. Negative mindset, the ideas of failure, inadequacy, the ideas of lack, the ideas of hate and separation. Those are what I consider to be negative mindset, right? The limiting beliefs that create these paradigms, these limits on our individual lives. So when we start feeling the negativity, and the negativity, it's fine. You're not bad if you allow it, but it's not healthy for you. um, when we find ourselves with the negative feelings, um, with the anger, the discontent, the fear, those feelings will add to the confusion in the mind. And it's real easy. Those negative feelings take over. And it's supposed to be, it's all chemical reactions and electrical signals that are firing off. And it's all designed for us, to protect us, to help us stay alive. Now, why does God want us to have the mechanisms and the inner technology to intuit, to perceive, to discern? Obviously, those things are within us because the Creator wants us to stay alive, I'd assume. I mean, that's what nature is. That's what life is about. Life. Hmm. Life is an amazing gift. Truly, truly is. And I was watching more lectures and presentations today regarding consciousness. There's a lot of, I mean, I'm speaking about consciousness. We speak about consciousness, but there's literally scientists, people who are dedicating their lives, and it has been for, like, as far as we know, generationally, right? Philosophers trying to understand, who is it? Descartes? Is that the right one? I think, therefore I am. Um, But the reality is, even without thoughts, I am the awareness. And the awareness is the evidence of our consciousness. We all have these things. We all have within us the universe. The universe. Hey, welcome, Henry. God bless you, brother.
How's it going?
I'm feeling blessed. This topic, though, it's getting my mind deep into the esoteric, and sometimes I just I know I don't make sense when I go that direction, but how you doing, brother? How's things going across the waters?
Fine, yeah, it's still cold, and there's a wind that just makes everything much, much colder.
That wind chill is no joke.
Yeah,
What's the time there? You're like 9 hours ahead, I think. Is that right? Around
it's
midnight there?
it's 18 minutes past 11.
Okay. Well, blessings. Thank you for joining us. You Well, I guess it's the life of a dad, an exciting Friday night.
Yeah, I got a I snuck out the other day. I'll show you.
Yeah,
So
good.
I went to my trusted tobacco supplier for another Cuban. Don't know if you can see this. This is the good stuff.
It
That's the
looks,
really good stuff
I'm
there.
gonna bring you up. That looks beautiful, my friend.
Don't know.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Yes. I never myself, I didn't get into cigars an awful lot, but I can appreciate and respect that, there's all sorts of pleasures that life brings.
There are.
That's
That's
pretty
my
cool.
apart from caffeine, which I am addicted to. Um, Tobacco is my only vice that I'm not addicted to. So it's like a once a month. That's my thing.
Good for you. I'm pushing beyond my nicotine. Today I have not had any nicotine. I got
Cheers, fellas. What is that? A Cuban, Henry?
Yeah, it's a Bolivar.
Oh, nice, nice. I've been to Cuba before. So
have you?
Cool.
yeah.
Fascinating.
When was that?
Many years ago, I went to Veradero and Havana areas
Nice.
when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
um I hope in the future for many things. I hope to be able to travel more again in the future. There's a lot of places I'd love to see. Cuba, that sounds pretty cool. I actually, I don't know. There's a lot of places I want to see.
They're very nice people over there. They're very nice people.
Thank you, Cage. I actually think there's pretty nice people all around the world. But what's happening today, what has been happening in the past, is good people have been convinced that everything is okay. Good people have been convinced to no, stay back. We got this covered. Meaning the authorities, meaning the whatever. Good people have become confused by good people. Because I honestly think there is a lot of good in this world. It's being hidden because our media profits from magnifying the atrocities. Um, the government profits from well, they profit from chaos. So it's hard to see that there is a lot of good in this world, but there really is. It's evident through you, through me, and I think many others.
I think we've been conditioned to be more reactive to the negative stuff, like through the media. there's never any good news. It's always some terrible shit that they pump because that gets people more interested, like more attention. You know, we're conditioned to focus on the negative. You know.
Yep. But can you imagine? Because Cage, you've been studying this stuff, the power of the mind. Can you imagine what our world might happen if instead of the media just fear porn every day, if the media actually focused on the good news? Hey, world news, we avoided this catastrophe. Hey, we solved these problems, and here's the method that maybe others can use. Hey, these are new innovations, new discoveries. If our news was sharing news, maybe actually not. If our media was sharing the positivity, but it would defeat the purpose because the fear serves the purpose.
Exactly. You're ruining their whole plan if you do that, you know.
That's actually what I want to do. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool to go down in history as being a part of that which interrupts the sick shows being played out on the political and economic stages around the world? I mean, I know the chances are slim, but I think there's a way we can do it. We'll be like the wild card that the world hasn't been expecting. That's my hope, actually. Because one of the inspiring videos I was watching earlier, I don't remember where it came from. Someone shared it here, and I looked up what someone shared. And it was talking about choosing your mission. Do you have a mission for your life? An actual purpose and a meaning? What if we
Definitely
do?
an important question. I put in the private Jackson. I think you'll enjoy it. It's this audiobook I stumbled across the other day. It's from like 1940. It's called The Power of Belief. It's pretty good. I think you'll like it. You know, threw it in the private for you for later on or whatever.
I appreciate that. I'll toss it to the regular too. The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. It's a book I'm not familiar with.
I saw an interesting video a few days ago. It reminded me of you, Jack. You might laugh at this. It's who's that? Is it Tony Robbins, the tall guy? So he did a podcast with Theo Von recently, the comedian.
Okay.
He's got that kind of he's got a very like offbeat sort of southern way about him. And I would never usually watch either of them, but they actually had a great conversation. And the thing that struck me about, Theo was always a guest on other people's podcasts, but then he went on to do his own, and he's been really successful. And I think the reason why so many people resonate with him is because he's so completely authentic. And I think in the world of people chasing influence, the few people who are genuinely authentic, they really get rewarded for being so. Even if you don't agree with somebody or don't understand them, if you can see that they're being authentic, it's very difficult to find a reason not to listen.
Yeah. It's because they're being truthful with themselves and others, right? They're not they don't have like some agenda or motive.
Right.
Authenticity. That is seriously the key. Being honest and authentic. It defies logic in this world of competition, because if you're authentic and honest, you're probably well, you'll do a lot of things that aren't necessarily in the benefit of you winning. If you're honest and authentic, you might actually help others succeed too, won't be as likely to keep things keep the best answers to yourself. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I took us off topic there. Well, you
Well, it's
were
because
talking about
it's another conditioning, right? Like that you have to deceive people and
mhm.
all that in order to win, but you don't. You just have to be good at what you do, be in your own path, your own lane, and disregard anything else. You know, like yeah, you don't have to do that at all. That's just people that are not skilled. They're not skilled, and they believe that's the only way to get ahead. You know, so
It's what the world has taught. Although the world has also, I mean, the mainstream conditioning, right? The theories of survival of the fittest, and only the strongest succeed, only the strongest can survive. That's not necessarily true. What is true is that which adapts. That which adapts is most likely to overcome. And we can adapt when we're honest and authentic. When we're stuck in a character, when we've been telling lies to ourselves and each other, we create these real rigid rules, this a set of rules for ourselves, and it's not healthy. I don't think I'm explaining that clearly, but the insanity, the confusion is clear. The news and the world. I don't know how it's going to happen, but that is the key. Actually, this right there. If anyone takes a lesson, it's coming from Hard Hat. There's a beautiful lesson right there. We have to always adapt, keep learning, and never live in a bubble. Keep growing. That's our mission. Our mission here on earth is to learn and to grow and to become greater than we've ever been before. That's what I believe. It took me a while to believe that, though, and I had to listen and trust others. I had to listen to others and trust that what they were saying may have been true.
yeah. Dominic has a question in the back. He's saying, "What does authentic mean?" Being authentic to me means, it all starts within the mind. So your thoughts, thinking what you say, saying what you do. It's like the amalgamation between that, like of thoughts and actions and all that. When those line up, then I think that's being authentic, in my opinion.
Yes, the truth. The truth frees us. The truth sets us free of our confusion. It sets us free of our deception. Let's see. What you mean by character? I've heard you say it a few times. Aren't we always ourselves? Okay, I see. Well, this question of aren't we always ourselves? That's where the key of the test of authenticity comes in. Because many people think they are being themselves. They think they're being true to themselves and who they are. A lot of times they're not true to their heart, they're true to their memories. And yeah, they're not lying, they're being honest. This is the truth about me, this is what I remember. But our memories aren't always accurate. And regarding character, it's probably, I view the ego, who we are, what we represent, that the ego is our character, and we get to choose the character to some degree. This morning, not to totally change the subject, but this morning I started getting in my head. There's a guy around town he's really let me down. He told me he'd be there for me, told me he'd help me, and yet it's just continuously not. So this morning I found myself without the positive mindset. I was getting pretty angry, pretty frustrated. So having the practice, having the, the awareness, I know that's not what I want to do. I know I want to be positive. So I started thinking about that. And what I realized, who we are today, we are made by so many variables. There's so many variables, people, things, the planets, the energies. There's so many variables of the past that brought us and created us into who we are today. So rather than just blame one guy, right? Rather than blame one guy for his lack of, helpfulness, I realized who I am. I am a result of the universe. So are all of us. We're the result of the universal energies, all the other beings bringing us forth to who we are today. And so if I can see that I am a part of the universe, it's not just this town, it's not just my bloodline, it's not just my neighborhood. I'm part of the universe, man. That feels pretty cool. Because everywhere I go, I'm home. You're muted, Henry.
It sounds like something that should go on a t-shirt. Everywhere I go, I'm home.
It's the truth. But this world wants us to believe that, so many confused narratives, so many false conclusions have been shared, false narratives as well. The world benefits, the world of the past. Okay, and the world of the past is what brought us to today. But the world of the past that's out there right now, it wants us to be limited. It wants us to believe that we are limited. The oppressors, and there are people in power today with the mindset of oppressors. I'm not saying we are oppressed. I'm not saying we are victims. I'm not saying anyone is guilty either, but I am saying that there is oppression going on. And those with power that want to keep the power, they want us to stay divided. We stay divided only because I don't know. I don't know why we stay divided, honestly. Now that I've started seeing the world.
It's been social engineered into us. That's socially engineered into us. It's like, how do you control 8 billion people? You have to have some sort of self-governance, right? So you divide them up into as many things as possible, through religion, through race, through language, through, it's like the story of Babel in a way. And then you make them, self-regulate. Then that's the only way to actually control people. You have to,
Well, that's the way
Yeah.
That's the way it's been in the past. But here's where we are. If I can inspire others to think like me, here's what it would be. You'd recognize that today starts the rest of our life. Everything I've learned and everything I've acquired up until today has just been preparation. Preparation for what? For me to fail? For the world to continue getting more chaotic and becoming worse? I don't think so. Man, God wants us to succeed. And when I say God, I mean, I know that word brings up a lot of things for people, but how about just the facts? The facts of the universe, the way the world operates. The universe, it is created to sustain, propagate life. And we are, by the gift of our consciousness, the awareness that we have available I'll say the awareness we have available to us is what places us above the beasts, the other animals. And I think in the hierarchy of things that is natural, I don't think we were placed with a superior mind and the gift of awareness, imagination. I don't believe we were given these abilities so that we could chemically and violently exterminate ourselves and all these other animals. You know, there's species going extinct rapidly, all sorts of different insects and animals, fish, that mankind is we're making it tough for everybody to live here on earth. We meaning people. So how do we get the people to wake up?
Lead by example. You can't force anyone. You can't force anything onto anyone. All you can do is do the best. Be the best version of yourself, and that's infectious, right? Once you do that, everything will start changing around you.
Hey, let me address this. Snafu, I unblocked you, obviously, and I'm grateful that I did, apparently, because you're over here giving me a heads up and a warning. I appreciate you, Snafu, but I could have been kinder with Paul yesterday, and maybe that would have helped things in the future, but at this point, I don't know what to do with some of the people I've been introduced to, is what I mean. Hey, let me yield, please. Dominic, Cage, Henry, thoughts, feelings?
I saw somebody was here yesterday from your past, but I didn't hang around to watch.
Paul did visit, but unfortunately he showed up. Unfortunately, his trolls affected me before Paul showed up. And so by the time he arrived, I didn't have much patience to share. And
well, it's your house, so you don't have to let just anyone in.
And that's what I'm growing into that comfort as well.
Mm.
It's hard to know, though. How do you know when to push someone away?
That's a question that we used to wrestle with on the channel I used to be part of. People would say to us, why don't you ban everybody that says things like this? Because it's offensive or not constructive. And the theory was that if you're going to promote free speech, you have to offer the platform to everybody. But unfortunately, there's a line where you turn some people away who don't want to be around that stuff, even if it's, that's someone's opinion. They're entitled to it. So you do have to curate the community you want, and you do have to find that balance of turning some people away or preventing some people from speaking or commenting in line with your values. So I think your values are pretty clear for your channel. So I guess it's up to you to decide, how rigid you want to be with it.
Yeah. That's the life we all get to choose. But here's the other part of that. How do you know who to invite into your life, into your time, your experience? I've invited a lot of people, and maybe not all of them should have been, because it's resulted in, well, having to shut the door on people as well.
That's hard. especially in real life.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
But what you observed too, what you learned in the past, it's something I've been dealing with here as well. I've been trying to figure this out. I mean, obviously I'm doing the stream because I feel like I've got something to share. The other side of that is I know there's a lot of people who have good things to share. And so I'm trying to find the balance between, shining the spotlight on me and having a space for people to be authentic and to have real conversations. The downside to that, though, is people aren't always on the same page. And my efforts to have an open space for conversations, you get the people that are real nasty in the chat or the people that bring chaos, and it affects. There's people who just don't want to deal with that. I don't know, man. I do see somehow, some way, though, this world is changing. This world is changing in ways that, well, I don't want to make anything like I know anything I don't, but I'm seeing the signs. I'm seeing signs all around the world between what's happening, showed in the news, and some of the conversations that are being shared. We're going through an incredible shift here on Earth, and things may keep getting even crazier. So this is why the topic, the power of a positive mindset within all of us, within each and every one of us, since we have the ability to choose, we have the ability to direct our thoughts, and we don't have to stay in the negative. We don't have to stay in the darkness. We can grow into the positive. All it takes is the faith, the willingness, and the belief.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's like a dichotomy, right? So it's almost like a pendulum of negative and positive. So instead of trying to fight to only be positive, it's better to transmute this negative energy in a way. It's a law called the law of neutralization. If you look at the hermetic law and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can simply neutralize it. You know, it's a normal experience. You can't have one without the other. So you can't like demonize like being negative. Like that's a natural occurrence, right? But you can transmute it, and like I was saying, the law of neutralization, and now it's a tool.
Cage, that's a beautiful, what'd you call it? A wave cancellation?
The law of neutralization.
Neutralization. Brother, that makes sense. I've seen how it works with waves when they come together, and if it's right, timed right, and the right energies, they'll cancel each other, and it's a neutralization. That can happen in our experiences as well. I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, but having the negative energy come in, having the negative forecast, the images in our mind about this negative and horrible future or negative and horrible conclusion within ourselves, if we can find an equal and opposite positive.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
if not, it's
can
like I like using it like a pendulum swing, right? If not, then you're going to be forced along these two extremes constantly. So it's like the middle pillar or the middle or neutralization, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, and now you're no longer being controlled by it. Now you're learning how to utilize it. It's mental alchemy, mental transmutation.
Hey, that's what you're talking about. It's the key. Mental transmutation. I've talked about it before. The concept of experiential alchemy. taking your mind and the tool of your mind, the ability to refine and extract the essence, find the value, find the blessing from the past experience, from the fearful, whatever we're fearing, find the value and the blessing within that. And you can flip the script. You can at least bring yourself back to the balance of normal, right? Instead of being all angry, or the middle path is where we're supposed to be. Walking that narrow path of truth, being able to see all the different perspectives. I think that's what the key for us really is. And so what if this is an idea that I'm literally working through? I think it's true. What if, well, no, I can't say that, because I know that everyone's path is different. Where my mind is at is I have been practicing and playing with the idea that my job is to do nothing, no things. I am the vessel. I will do what needs to be done as it gets done, and I trust the Creator to move me to where that is. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I know I feel good. I'm not guilty of, it's not like I've got a list of things stacking up I'm not accomplishing. I mean, I'm still productive. I'm just not as worried. I'm not as stressed as what I used to be. I think that's what we're supposed to do. Welcome, Snafu.
What's going on, guys? I just want to say one thing. You guys' stream has been very you guys have been staying out of drama, talking your thing, doing it up. I want to say, Paul, you're a coward. I noticed you put pussy out with Monograph and others, but you want to pick on Jack. You want to he's live streaming you right now, talking shit about Henry and you and your whole fucking stream. And Paul, I don't need your stream, you dumb fuck. You forget we're crew. But what's the shameful thing is he wants to bitch at everyone staying out of drama. And I noticed you guys are doing your thing, staying out of the drama, completely fucking just doing your own thing. And as Paul gets so bored, he's so obsessed with you, Talcott, that he just can't stop it. So continue doing your thing, and fuck you, Paul. You think you're better than everyone else? I got news for you. You're not, pal. Anyways, much love, guys.
Thank you, Snafu. You know, brother, hey, what you're saying is probably true. Paul, thank you. Thank you for the restream. I did just check it out. It looks like you're a few minutes behind, but you know, hey, brother. The extra commentary, though, this is what I find so funny, is that if Paul actually listened to me, if he actually listened to some of the words instead of making fun of them, he wouldn't be so arrogant or uptight. He'd be a lot more fun to be around. But everyone's got their path. Everyone's got their purpose. You're muted, brother. Henry?
You'd think I'd be more savvy than that, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yeah, one of the good thing about your channel is you do provide that forum for people just to feel like they can come in and be authentic. And that's a good USP for a YouTube channel, for a community. You know.
Thank you.
Your channel is growing, and people know what they come here for. You know, if it was me, I'd be inviting, you know, different people to come and speak. But the open forum that you have, it's very inclusive, and it's very chill, and there's no front to it. You know, it's just authentic people talking about things that affect everyone. So I think you're doing a good job.
I appreciate that.
That was some important information we're talking about there with the law of neutralization and transmutation. And that, if more people apply that, I guarantee you wouldn't be in this situation in general. Ever seeing things happen,
Welcome, Lindsay.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am doing just fine, and I'm not here to cause any drama or anything. I just wanted to comment on a few things that you said because, well, off the cuff, I don't know. I feel a little uncomfortable doing that now because you said you needed to talk to me and because I make you mad or something first. So, like you needed to. We had a disagreement the other night, like a couple nights ago or something, and you said that you needed to talk to me about how I present myself or something like that.
What
Okay.
I have some ideas. I without jumping to conclusions, I believe I see some blind spots in you.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about, but I don't want to commandeer the show.
No, sure.
Should I ask you about it later, or would you rather I comment on the things that you were commenting on?
Tell you what, I'm at peace. I'm feeling good. Unless there's objections from the others, do as you want, Lindsay.
It's
Whatever.
like you think I'm gonna take some strikes. I was commenting in the chat section, but I don't think that anyone pays much attention to the comments because you as the streamer have to speak to the people on the panel. But I wanted to say, you reminded me of Atlas because you were trying to take the world on your shoulders. You keep saying, how do I get this message out? How do I get to people? And then you're talking about people that you've had to distance yourself from because you got to know. So I was thinking that is way too heavy of a burden. How could you say that? How could you feel at peace and not anxious and just chill and good when you've got all these worries, like meeting all these people, giving messages to all these people? How? And I said, people are idiosyncratic. Now, think of it like medication. Not everybody's going to need the same amount of aspirin, or maybe aspirin is the answer, maybe exercise is the answer to their problem. If you have one size fits all for everyone, there's no way that you could possibly reach out. On the other hand, there's no guaranteed way that you could possibly reach everyone either. So why wouldn't you just make a smaller goal and say, hey, my goal is 10 people. And here's the measures of how I'm going to tell that I've reached these people or influenced them, instead of trying to reach the whole world. That was a lot to say, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what do I respond? Was that just an observation for me to receive?
It could be a question to you or a rhetorical question, just something to think about. Or it's like this, to me, it's an impossible, unrealistic goal. To you, there is such a thing as perfection, and that's what you want to meet. But I am worried that you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You, whoever you are. And yes, I realize that in order to try something, you don't want to give up before you even start. I get that. People will tell you that you're nothing and you're no one and you don't mean anything and this and that to try to diminish you. It's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to say is, how about a smaller goal than focusing on the entire world?
Well, I love that. I love that observation you're sharing. I don't know how to clear it up though. What you're saying, I absolutely agree with you, and I even understand. I think I understand why you're suggesting it. You care, and it doesn't make a lot of sense on the outside. Here's where I'm at. Yes, I have chosen for myself some goals that, fucking nonsensical. Who am I to believe that could happen? Well, I did that for myself because I watched my life fall apart and nobody around me seemed to care. And so I said to myself, how on earth could that possibly happen? So since I've already experienced the unbelievable around me, I figured, you know what? Let me set unbelievable goals. But my first step is not an unbelievable goal. I'm trying to find ways to have conversations with people who used to know me here in my hometown, to include like my neighbors who can't find any time or any reason in their life to talk to me. And I can't force anybody. So, Lindsay, you're right. But here's the deal. This is what could be so amazing is if this is, in fact, the right path for me, if in fact I do see the path and the steps and it happened for these reasons, holy shit, man, the world will be celebrating soon. We will be all excited because the truth will be known all around the world. We will get through the uncomfortable part, which is everyone realize with a day of reckoning. We'll get through the uncomfortable part where people start recognizing they were wrong about things. And Lindsay, yes, I mean, my goal is to get the American government and the other leaders of today to realize, hey, we could be doing things a lot better than we are. I'm trying to do that in my hometown.
Some people already agree with that politically and where the government is concerned, we can do a lot better. Don't most people think that?
A lot of people think things, but then they don't do anything. This is part of the egoic patterns. It's part of the conditioning that the world has taught.
So if you were talking to, go ahead.
No, feel free.
Someone tried to say something. Okay, if you went over to Henry's house and you're talking to him, you two are hanging out, what exactly would you suggest that he do to take action? At what point would you feel like he's truly listened to you and he gets it? What specific thing or things would he have to do to show that you, or to make you feel like you've really reached someone?
Can I offer a thought?
No. Yes.
Fine, I'll go. So I've heard some, just as an example, I've heard some evangelical Christians describe the way that they try and reach out to people is that they draw a circle and they look after their self first and they try and fix everything that's wrong in their life. And then they invite other people into the circle to be with them and live like them. So any problems they have become shared problems, and they literally just start one person at a time. So that's the way they make progress. And it sounds like you're asking Jack, why not make progress that way instead of trying to just boil the ocean and take on everything at once?
Well, no, I'm not really telling him how to do anything because I'm A, no expert, and B, he really doesn't want to hear that. He's not asking for my opinion on it. And I understand that. So I just like to, shoot things out there and shoot ideas or questions or whatever. That's his thing to do and his thing to, do the way he wants to. What I was asking was for a specific, concrete example of what Henry would be doing after he spoke to Jack to actively show that he listened, he got it, and now Jack has succeeded in something.
Well, that would all depend on what Henry wants to do. I mean, I'm not trying to maybe I'm explaining this poorly. If I knew that others were doing what I hoped, there would be like an active campaign reaching out to people who are in positions, all sorts of different. We'd be reaching out to psychiatrists, to attorneys, to judges, get anybody we can on our side with the purpose and the goals of bringing truth to light in the world. There's many people who say they want the truth, many people who say they want, better than what is. I'm suggesting that the solution for the world, it's the same solution as for our individual lives. We stop lying.
So you're not just talking about veracity and government. You're talking about in all things. You said light. You said you want the truth in all things. I'm trying to understand your goal clearly, because usually when this is how I'm thinking. If I have a goal, it's specific and clear in my mind. And then I figure out how am I going to do this? And then I say, what's it going to look like once I do this? So I guess I'm trying to get just a more, you're right, it's a little hazy. I want to know exactly what you want people to know the truth about. Life in general?
You want like actionable points.
I'm not sure how to answer that. The goal that I'm trying to get across to everyone, is that what you're trying to understand? What is it that I want others to receive?
Okay, I heard you said you want the truth about the government, and then I heard you say you want the truth, people to know the truth, period.
Right.
So that's everything. That's all encompassing. My
all
God.
Right. So what's confusing?
You just cleared it up. You just cleared it up for me. I wanted to know your exact goal.
I'm not okay.
That's all. I'm asking for clarity in something that just seems so abstract.
I'm not sure what causes it to seem abstract. Because I've given a lot of, I don't know what you've heard, what you've accepted from what I've said. I only know what I've said and explained in the past. So,
well, you just clarified it for me, so thanks.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to be difficult. Just I like to understand things.
I appreciate that, and I've noticed that. I've seen that in you. You do have. You're a strong lady, and you are seeking to know. What I've seen, I mentioned to you that I saw some things I considered a blind spot, but it's not really that blind. I think you're aware of it. What I see a pattern with you and many others that I want others to try and, I want people to push beyond is our distrust. Our distrust is often because we're not entirely honest. We are capable of far more than what the world has told us to believe and that many people have chosen to believe. We are far more than what the past might have shown. And so the distrust we keep within ourselves, these walls, these boundaries, these rules for everybody else, to why? To keep ourselves safe, but at what cost? And I'm not saying that we need to be blind or ignorant. We need to use our discernment, but this world we're living in, seriously, I lost my career. I lost my family. I've lost a lot out of my life because others chose to distrust. They didn't want to allow understanding. They didn't want to even allow communication so that there could be understanding. They wanted to prove their fears correct. So distrust is really the thing that does keep us apart. Distrust is a sign of fear. And fear is not positive. It's not fun.
Do you think because I ask questions, I distrust you? Is that what?
No, but you mentioned things. You've asked questions.
Yeah, you saw a pattern. of
Yes.
me distrusting.
Well, and you admitted you've had situations where forgiveness has been a challenge. Okay, and those two go together. The example of a place where forgiveness is just it's not an option. Well, that becomes the excuse to carry around distrust into other situations. And I know it may be separate, it may be different, and maybe maybe I'm reading more into it than what's there, but
I would agree. I just had to think about it. Definitely.
we all have these things. And this is the part, honestly, the question of how would I know if Henry or someone else understood me? Really, I only hope. I can only trust based on what they say. But the goal that I'm trying to get across to people is sincerely, we live now, moment by moment, in the moment, right now. We're supposed to stay present. We're supposed to stay loving and aware and kind and genuine and authentic. I think as more and more of us do that, it'll be easier. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, Jack? How you feeling?
I'm feeling actually pretty good.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm sorry to interrupt at all. I'm not going to hang for too long because I just had a question, and I don't know if you covered it. I've been on and off the phone. Lindsay kind of touched on it. I think all of us would be interested. I would be interested in how you would approach, say, a step-by-step guide, 1, 2, and 3 being the first steps of what if somebody was checking off a workbook. I know I achieved Jack's goal 1, and Lindsay was covering this. I know I achieved Jack's goal 2. You know what I mean? What's up, Joe? How you feeling?
What's going on, Larry? What's up, baby?
Hey.
Hey.
So I don't think you got there because you guys
Lindsay.
kind of got off that topic to
Joe?
something more meta. But I would like to hear how, if you're gonna write that workbook, what do you see, Jack? What are kind of like the, you know what I mean?
Aaron,
angles.
Thank you. This is the question you ask me has significance for my journey because I've been encouraged and deliberating, trying to write a book again. So this workbook idea, I guess it's time for me to flush it out, right?
I think so. We're all asking for it. So
here, first 3 steps, it's so basic, it's so simple, and yet it might be a lifelong process. Step 1 is what I call I don't remember what I called it, a super inventory, or you purposefully inventory your life, catalog what is going on in your life, what is you and what is not, what is the situation of your life. So I guess a situational sit rep report. Where are you standing today? What is good and bad about today's circumstances? Number 2, identify who you are not and identify who you are. And with those 2 things, an inventory of today and who you are not will show some of the past that has developed in today. And then who you are and who you want to become, well, that'll focus us in the future. And so with the super inventory, with the clarity on who I'm not, who I am, those will help us discover the mission. And what is the mission that's within your heart? What is your spirit calling forth for you to experience or become? If we can get clarity on those things, what I've learned for myself, when we have a goal, when we have a purpose within our mind, guess what it does? It limits our options and our choices in a good way. we don't get overwhelmed with too many options and choices. We know, well, this is where I want to be, and this is related, and this is the time. Does that help?
It does. That's actually very wonderful and helpful. But I do have one question about the second set of say a person achieved the majority of their goals. Say you've accomplished anything you could have thought of, and then more that you didn't know you could have done. And you're there, and you got the feeling that you don't know what else there is to do. And the things that are being offered and put in front of you by the universe, by the world, are, let's say, less than challenging, or don't seem appealing, or don't even seem like part of the program of growth. What would you advise there? Or
Get new goals. You had shitty goals. That's my advice.
No. This is what I'm saying is like, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that these accomplishments and the goals are in some cases otherworldly comparative to what people normally would do. And say you've always accomplished higher goals and you set the bar high from the get-go, and then at some point you just ran out of those things to find. And I hear what you're saying about shitty goals, because some of them can be shitty, but I think, though, even if they're the height of your accomplishment question, and just for the sake of hypothetical, what would be the option, or what would you advise? I'm sorry, not the option, but what would you advise when somebody has reached a plateau in all of their personal life choices through life, of going, okay, I hit the apex of anything I could have imagined?
Every one of those, every individual would be different. Okay. And to get those answers, though, there's other people who haven't had the patterns of goals, but someone who has had successes and actually accomplished some things in their lives, I think I'd press in to find their unsatisfaction. What in the greater scope of the world leaves them less than satisfied? What world problem do they want changed, and what could they do? Would they have interest in pursuing that? The other part, though, which is obvious to me, I'd invite them to join my team. Let's change this damn world. That's not been, I mean, it has been done, but let's bring peace to the world. Let's bring a momentum. Let's get a wave started and bringing forth peace to this world.
Yeah. No, I feel that. And I guarantee you that person would take that invite, because, what else bigger prospect could you have there? So that's
disbelief would convinces people that it may be wasted efforts, it may be wasted time. And so without even trying, I mean, this is what our minds do. Without even trying, we come up with excuses and reasons why things don't happen.
Yeah.
And then we end up with Donald Trump and Joe Biden as presidents. I mean, how much more evidence do we need?
I think it'd take a culture shift, though. I think people need to understand that we don't need all the flashy things, and we don't need expensive cars and stuff. If we had a culture shift to to people actually getting what they needed and what made their existence fulfilling, I think that's the first step towards world peace.
That first step is a huge first step, but it is the step, isn't it? And by the way, I just want to address Joe real quickly, because I didn't mean to dismiss you, and I know you were talking.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking to someone anyway. Yeah,
you're good. I actually, after some thought, I could actually agree with you in some severity to look at it and go like, oh, if you made those choices and you reached the apex,
you probably weren't shooting at the right spot.
Maybe
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'd have to talk about that offline.
I
but
mean, you
like,
could get
you know,
super rich. You can get. We could talk about it here. Jack's a cool
Yeah,
cat. Well,
yeah.
you may get super rich or bad bitches, whatever it is you were after. However, if your goal was like Jack, world peace, no chance you achieved it. If you was wanting to be the nicest cat, most forgiving, you never achieved those. It's a work in progress the entire time.
Oh, what? And thank you for adding that at the end.
That's why I was going with that. Yeah.
Well, this is the challenge of life. We live only now. And I see a lot of people who have in their minds that they've figured it out, that they've already achieved. And to some degree, it's true. But in other degrees, we got a lot of work to do in this world. There's a lot of things that could be done.
I would agree with you.
Do you
You
think
said
having
something. You go, Lindsay.
it was a really quick question. Do you think having maybe a centrist party would make a big difference, or would that just be some kind of abstract notion that doesn't really do anything?
I'm interested in anybody and everybody answering that question.
Have you guys seen the millions of people lined up in Yemen after we did the strikes out there? I sent
Or we
Jack
could
the
just
video.
bypass a question altogether and change the topic.
It's the same question because you got to
Oh,
think it's not only if we decide, like, say we're going to do what Jack wants or you want, it's the people who aren't on board or the people you have to convince are the people, right? And
yes.
right now, unfortunately, the states in America is being pinpointed, which it is in a way, in so many ways, the bad guys. But this Yemen optics, I sent Jack. There's millions of people out in the streets right now.
I was
Millions.
unaware. What can I get a short
It's in
version
the
to
backstage.
snafu?
It's in backstage too. Google just came out. A lot of the big guys are talking about this. Google is coming up with its new update processing programs, but because of probably forecasted events in the future, there's a lot more that has been programmed within Google to regulate how we can talk about the forecasted events, how journalists, including the big ones, not like Jack or me or regular YouTubers, but like people like the Joe Rogans or the people like the Alex Joneses and stuff can talk about things now. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. The transition of power is happening, and other countries
So,
are looking at us.
Snafu, can I
the bad
ask you
guy.
something? When do you think that this started? Because I can give you an answer that would shock
Oh,
you.
years ago, pre
Thank
9/11,
Okay, so
pre
something you
9/11.
should understand about this is not some
It's a
unfortunate. Wait,
systematic
hold on,
setup.
hold on. Wait, hold on. Listen very carefully. This is not systematic until now. It
I think it's
was.
been.
And wait, hold
I
on. Let me
personally feel
finish
since.
and explain it to you, because it's hard for most people to perceive how many people are
Wait.
involved
How
in
do you
this
say it's
naturally.
not been systematic till now? When we saw how
Because
systematic
if
it
you
was
listen to
pre
the
9/11 and
explanation,
Patriot
sir,
Act.
if
Let
you
him-
listen to the
let him answer.
explanation, I can very directly explain this to you. This is how the course of most things in the world occur. Programmers have to assign values to the words. Though I've seen this firsthand. Somebody redesigned a word to put it into the system in that at that point, Yahoo Platinum on the coding side. This is almost 15, 16 years ago. It's the wrong word for the request, yet that word comes up as number one search result. Now, that programming has been the basis of everything. It is first and foremost the bias of the people programming, and they weren't government people. They were just normal nerds. And then that gets usurped by another level. Wait, hold on, let me finish.
I know, but you're saying things that are wrong.
No, I'm not, because
Yeah,
I'll
you
include
actually
Oracle too. It's expansive is the point.
And
If you want
Oracle
to-
is what? CIA government tied? It's the same thing, just under privately owned Pogo.
Once
Privately owned
again,
government
Y'all
operated.
seeing these crowds?
Yeah, they're huge. And so what you're not getting is that this is a miasma. This is not
Oh,
one entity.
I get
This is-
it. I think way more than you are presenting it, sir. You're sitting
No,
here.
I literally can't
privately
finish a
owned,
sentence.
government operated, the ones who deal with the algorithms.
If you let
the
me
ones
talk
who,
at any length, you will find out that I understand the conspiratorial side as truth more than you'd even give it credence. And I'm trying to explain to you the miasma of the natural organism into the usurped organism and how that works properly. It is not a simple process of the government's decided in some world-ending fashion. There is so many different factions fighting that they create this center point of terror, of undermining, of the usurping of people's wills, for a better, lack of a better term. And I agree
You're
with
saying it's random just from the fighting. Is that what you're saying? It's not a plan?
I say that the plan usurps the randomness. That what ends up happening is that with the randomness built.
Organization to me, then, sir. Explain why they're telling us exactly what they plan on doing, what they're doing.
That's a non sequitur to what we're talking about, but we could go into that topic on a separate panel of conspiracy theory. I
guess the biggest point I wanted to make here was going off what Jack and you guys were talking about.
Sure.
There's a transition of power unlike no one's ever seen before. And this Yemen thing is huge. I mean, millions and millions of countries are looking at us as the bad guys here, both on the oil, the sex trafficking, you name it. America is the fall of Babylon, blah, blah. And I'm not trying to be
let me ask you, Snafu.
But Jack, in order for us to get on the same page, we must understand how many are not on the page. And that video right there was just showing you how many people are invested in the world with what's happening, not just here.
Yes, it's a great example. Now, can we have discussions instead of just Joe? You were gonna say something.
I was gonna ask Snafu something. I'd like to get. I don't know if Lindsay's still here, but her question when unanswered. Snafu, from what I read, there was short. It looked like U.S. has dropped killed 73 people or dropped 73 bombs over there.
The numbers never add. The numbers are always off. The numbers could be more, could be less.
Unfortunately, Joe.
That's not relevant. That's not relevant.
We won't get accurate numbers for munitions drop or usage until long after the affair.
That wasn't relevant to where I was going anyway. Where I was going with
these other countries.
Let me finish that, please. Yes, where I was going with that is that. Do you think that all of that reaction was just to the bombs? It looks like more like Snafu was talking about. It's a dissatisfaction all around to bring out those type of crowds. That's what I wanted to ask.
Here,
yes, Joe,
let me read this. Let me read it so for those tuning in. It says,
and remember, this is a Twitter post by a verified. So, even that's their opinion. But we got to look at countries just like this country, Yemen. Look what's happening in the Middle East. Look what's happening in Paris. Everywhere. The transition of powers and making.
All right, I guess I won't read it, will
I? I'm gonna look and see what Eric Toller's saying because he normally will be covering something of this nature as well.
That's a lot of people, man. Are you telling me that's not on U.S. news?
It's happening, and it's going to restrict how we cover events in the foretold future. That's what the update basically was saying. For those who who read it before they're updating it, what they're doing is this new update is going to be targeted on journalism big time and YouTube channels, things like that. But they're aiming for the Joe Rogans, the Alex Joneses too. They want to show the map. Anyone that can get to the math.
I just hate to tell you that this has been a slow slope for a very long time. This has always been something that we see in the writing, in literature, in news publication.
Let me ask you then, slow slope philosophy, because I agree with it. It's death by 1,000 cuts, or a drop into a bucket before you know it's full.
Yeah.
Is there a way to stop it? Because if it's so slow, you don't even know it happening. It's usually pretty successful, and that's why it's been so successful, and no one's come up with anything. How do you beat the slow death shit?
The gaming against it is that you have to keep changing the miasma. You have to keep changing the parameters of the play.
So you keep it moving. You keep adjusting your attacks. Is that what you're saying? I think.
Yeah, you basically have to work with the terms of within guerrilla, craft. And because I can't say some of those words on YouTube. But the idea is that, and this was I was talking about the miasma issue, which is that you have many participants in all different fields fighting for their own sections and quadrants and whatever it is. and a larger, more knowledgeable power that has more influence over all of them or knowledge of all of them usurps those processes and basically takes them for its own and will utilize them against people. That's what we've seen over and over and over again. And we can go back to COINTELPRO of the 60s. We can go back to the Rothschilds, waging war, paying for them all. We can go back to so many different things that are historical fact, and now we have an electronic introduction of censorship.
Well, and I got to honestly say, Joe, we've been witnessing, just like Aaron said, it's a slow squeeze on purpose because tactically that's how it's done. But you got to realize that's why the WHO is like, oh, we're going to strike your channel because of medical misinformation. Who'd that come from? WHO. All these new bills, legislative laws under the New World Order guys are coming in play. I put one more link out there for you, Jack. You can share it if you want. But for all you guys wondering if they're cloning or making robots out of people and all this other bullshit, it's real. It's 100%
I need a
real.
minute. I got a friend outside. I need a minute. I'll be back.
Yeah, I hate to put any wild conspiracy out there, but I once asked somebody in the know at a barbecue, several of us cornered this person and said, come on, tell us about the aliens. Come on, tell us about the cloning. Come on, tell us about the wars we don't know about. Come on, tell us about that. And this person said, there's so much going on that you would never sleep at night. But you know what? Somebody's handling it. So don't worry. That's what they said. That's what they said. So I don't know what that is. We'd have to Google reverse that one.
Yeah, it's, people put stuff together and all right, there's a lot of questions. So I know there's answers out there. I know there's ways to find out what is really going on. And I don't know.
One of the things that I think that we tend to forget is when we talk about like what could we do to change or fix or get past what we're going on. The reason I want to show you is because it's not just us. We got to think about a new world order is one world, one government, one religion, you get it. So we're not just us here in Americans, so to speak. And that's why the Yemen video is very powerful. The migration videos are very powerful.
Right.
There's things happening in the world.
This is what I'm talking. Yeah, partially. Imagine, that's a lot of people to get to come out.
Yeah, that's a nation-changing amount of people.
And let's remember, it's been going on for the last 4, 5, 6 months all around the world. They hide this footage. Mainstream media here in the States hides footage of these countries doing this. But again, why are they hiding it? Because they're kind of pinpointing us as the bad guys. So if a World War III situation does hit, the world's going to be kind of like, fuck you guys, versus.
This is the facts. This is the facts. I realized this a number of years ago. The rest of the world does not see America in the best of light. Yeah, there's a lot of people trying to come here and get through the borders, but the way that America, you go to other nations and see the invaders with their American flag on their uniform coming in and taking over. America is, due to the leadership, a matter of fact, due to the poor, unacceptable leadership from the commanders-in-chief and the citizens in Congress. I think every one of them are derelict in their duties regarding their oaths towards the American people, not towards, the words are written well. They're abiding by their oaths as they believe they should be. But we are at a time, brothers and sisters, there's a way for us to end the wars. I'm seeing so many actions like this in Yemen, and smaller scale too. So many people are standing up.
Also, look at what's going on with the farmers, especially American media is trying to hide that footage too. Thousands and millions of farmers in Europe are coming together. You think those streets look crazy with those people? Think of tractors everywhere. That's happening now in Europe because of the whole taxation on the diesel fuel, making it completely outrageous for farmers to afford. So all of
There's a
Europe,
lot
I mean, you think that footage is incredible. Look at what's happening. They're hiding this
Okay,
footage.
so snafu here. Let's work through this, okay? Because you're right. You pay attention around the world, you see a lot of the things that are happening, but we can't get so worked up. At the same time, we can do something. I know there's answers, there's options for the world, for us common folk to.
Well, that's
Also,
what
I would just like to correct some of the record here that specifically I am reading in Al Jazeera, El France. I'm seeing it on RU. I'm also seeing in The Guardian. I'm seeing on France 24. I'm seeing on NBC News. From 9 hours ago, hundreds of thousands expected at the weekend's rally. So they knew about this coming up. And thousands protest. This is, and the Council of Foreign Relations is actually responding to this from 17 hours ago. U.S. News and World Report. Big
that's where I
protests
got
break
my
out in Europe.
info.
Yeah,
The Council of Foreign Relations.
I tend to compare notes between the foreign news agencies and Reuters, AP.
Well, that's why
so it
putting
is
their-
the bombs.
That's why they're changing the new laws and they're updating Google, because here soon in the States, we're going to start seeing big events like they're doing all over the world here in the mainland. And that's why they're going to regulate how people, I guess, talk about what's about to come in the future, or
Well, hey,
journalists
snafu.
will cover it. So they're preparing it for here. We're going to see a lot of the stuff here that they're doing out there, protest and
and if we just talk about things and we don't do anything, it's going to keep getting rolled out and implemented. We'll keep, our neighbors will keep paying the government the taxes. The taxes will keep arming our military and our police. And, there's plenty of people willing to stand up and enforce the rules of other people as long as there's a paycheck involved. People are becoming desperate in these days, looking for work, looking for jobs. It's all brilliantly executed and rolled out. Hey, we've got another guest here in the back, and I'm curious. I don't believe he has any pure intentions, but does he have any explanations at all? What is your purpose, Swim?
I have one question, Jack.
Why?
What's the situation?
You didn't answer my question. I asked you, what is your actually, maybe you did. So you asked one question.
You cut him off early.
Why should I
Piece of shit.
entertain anything?
I'm fucking sick
from
of you.
Swim?
Wait, what swim is this?
You guys are pathetic.
Christos. Little
Oh,
bitch
this is
boy.
Christos?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Wait.
Christos.
Oh,
What's the
Christos
situation
talk.
with
I'd
the
like
house,
to.
brother?
I'd like to hear Christos. Like, let's see how
Mr.
smart this guy
War on
is.
the house.
I mean, what's more
Sometimes-
pathetic than calling a panel
Christos,
filler?
we're
Everybody's
Hey, Jack,
from
Jack.
over there. Paul's talking
Right,
shit
If
on
I
yeah,
may
I
chat.
speak,
talking about
brother Jack.
2016
Pretty
was the
funny.
year of the troll. Are you in your 40s, bro?
What
Brother
were you
Jack.
saying, Provo?
I'm someone who gets laid. That's all you care about.
Hey, brother Jack.
I already like
think-
this Aaron guy.
Hold on, please.
He ain't
Provo.
cupcaking.
Snafu, please. Go ahead, Provo.
I just think that if he is kind of Jack, I just want to hear him talk, right? Because he is wrong. And sometimes the best way to know somebody is wrong is to let them talk.
Let them speak. I think you're right. I'm going to do, whoops. I chose to leave.
Oh, that was great. No, I'm being honest here, because he was just gonna make a jerk out of himself. We all know it.
But who
I
is
know.
he? I'm not familiar with that character.
That's Christos.
I know, but yeah, I want to hear how dumb he is, though. That's kind of like for me personally. Can you indulge me and let me hear how dumb this guy is? I would really appreciate it.
I love your positivity, Provo. I really
No,
do.
honestly, I want to. It'd be good for me if I could just hear how dumb he is, Jack. Let me just respond to him. Give maybe put us one-on-one for 2 minutes.
That's
Ooh.
what I was trying to do, was to bring him up and bring him some space. He left, and now
Oh,
see he's
I-
threatening me,
Jesus
I
Christ.
guess. So please.
Come on up, dude.
Yeah.
Let's do a one-on-one. I want to hear how dumb this
Ah.
guy is.
Well, you know,
Provo,
Daddy
good
sent
to
him
hear
over. He
from you,
tried to get
by the way,
Wizard
man.
and Christos to come over here. Like
God
he
bless
sent
you,
them
man.
over on purpose.
Yeah. Christos, please come up, dude. I'd love to hear your thoughts, dude, and talk to you about it.
There you go.
There you go.
And
Let's go.
I'm going to do this just to help.
Can you keep Cage?
No.
I think he'd be a
It's
good
one-on-one.
asset.
No. One-on-one, dude.
This doesn't seem like a one-on-one.
Oh, Jack could be here. Yeah, there you go. What's up, dude? What's your problem?
Okay. Hey, no, I was just curious about what's going on with Jack's house.
Well, why though? Why do you
Obviously,
give
you
a
wouldn't
fuck?
have to tell anyone, but given last year, given
Yeah,
what's been going on YouTube, he's put it all out there so far, the journey so far.
Hey, okay, agree.
It only
That's
makes
fine.
sense to ask,
But
you know, it's getting around that time.
Why are you like Moose? Are you the new Moose? Are you trying to produce and direct this entire show?
I'm just having fun.
Yeah, okay,
Hopping
well
on
then
a panel.
you're just being an asshole then. And I like it. So
Yeah.
you want to be an asshole, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So you want to be a heel in this story that we're creating, which is just the panel verse fun. And I get that, but like now that we
No, I just care
now
about
that
the
we
house.
yeah, but you really don't. You're just being an asshole. And I
Fireplace.
appreciate that. Like, because there's what's it called? Concern trolling, right? You're concern trolling, Jack. And I get that form and I appreciate that art form. But like just looking at you now, just kind of sad, pathetic, right? Like this is what you got to do.
Well, yeah.
You're
I
like,
mean, look at
who
the
are
picture
you?
that I have.
This is your
Sad
life, man.
and
This is
pathetic.
Look
your
at that
life right now.
picture.
Your life right
You know
now.
who this
Your
is.
life right now is coming on a panel, right? And talking to another man, trying
No,
to
that's
just
not
troll
my
the
life
journey.
right
That's your
now.
life. Like that's
That is your
that's
life.
the best thing you have.
You're in
Jack's-
denial, dude.
Jack's trying to solve problems. He's trying to change the world, and
Right,
you
I'm
just
in
want to come up and
denial of
concern
all
troll.
people. That's
No,
rich
you got
Jack.
problems, dude. You
Swim.
really got problems. I would
Yeah.
think about doing something else right now.
Bang.
Or
Right.
Hey,
Right.
Christos, why'd you
You know, or you
think
can
about
just-
the circle
or
jerk
not-
that I
or
just
Or you
not
can
walked
just
into.
ignore all the
Can
other
you
adults
imagine
telling you to piss
guys
off.
telling me that?
Well, here's
Christos,
the thing.
Come on,
are you
Jack.
trying to make your
Christos,
daddy proud?
We can
You
imagine
have no
Trying to make
reflection
Paul
on
proud
yourself,
by trying
Jack.
to
You're just
troll
saying
Jack's
it.
stream?
you're
Is that what you're doing, Christos? Just trying to make daddy proud?
Yep.
More than that. I'm just
More
having fun
than
fucking
that.
around with Jack because he's
Hey,
such an
Christo.
idiot. He's still gonna let me on and make this
You
content.
wanna
Yeah.
smoke
You're
and
You're
keeping
a
this
loser, though.
feud
This
going
is
on
what
as
you
well.
do.
Always fucking closet hating on Paul and his channel. It's amazing. And what are you doing? Oh,
Why don't
are
you
you
cam
fucking
up?
making money, dude?
Hey, why don't
Are you
you
building
cam up?
towards anything, or are you just hoping this
Hey, little
YouTube thing
bitch
goes
boy.
somewhere?
Hey, little bitch boy. Why don't you cam up, okay? There you go. So now, let's have a conversation, little bitch boy.
Yes. Let's shift in our seat
Well,
because
here.
we're not confident within ourselves, and we expose it all the time when we go
you are
live.
completely delusional, dude. Do you know where
Right?
you
Yeah,
are?
I'm delusional, Jack.
Okay, Christos, do you know where you are right now?
Is this real, man?
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
at least you're
asking
not talking about going to the
you. Where
UN
do you
anymore. At least you
think
got
you
that
are?
much sense.
Hey, what do
You're not
you
gonna make
think
yourself
you're
look like an idiot
accomplishing?
talking like you're gonna be talking somewhere there.
What do you think you are accomplishing?
Why do I have to be accomplishing something to your standards or anyone else's standards here? You let me on. I'm doing my thing. You're letting me communicate, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Yeah.
Hey, Lizard Tree, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I'll continue, please. You can continue being a monkey, being part of the clown show, Christos. Here's what I want you to think about, though. Since you don't have any logical,
Right, like I'm gonna listen to you.
right? You're not listening, dumbass. Okay.
You know what my favorite portion of the minor minds on the internet is the fact that they really think that they've done something impressive for themselves. And I have to wonder if they're jerking themselves off afterwards when they look in the mirror.
No,
Well, and let's look at the topic we were talking about.
Hey,
We were
honestly,
actually talking about
y'all
some
need
real
to-
shit.
You maybe get to some real shit, but let's all for a moment take at least 2 seconds to feel sorry for that individual, right? Like just to understand his place is suffering. He's not in a good place. When you need to make somebody else suffer, right?
When you
Provo.
tried,
Provo.
sorry to interrupt. What you're saying, Provo? Absolutely. When you think you have to go belittle others so that you can make Paulie fucking proud of you, and that's
Right.
what
He's
this
trying
goes
to be
doing.
accepted. He's trying to be the
Provo,
cool
let's
kid
have
on the block wearing his
let's
man
have
purse,
some
talking shit on
compassion.
Talcott.
Hey, I was there myself, so I'm gonna take a moment of silence for his sad soul.
Damn straight.
Thank you.
You know what's funny though? Is we
at
were
least
talking
2
about farming,
seconds, Snafu, at
economics. We were
least.
talking about world optics, and then they show
Snafu.
up.
Snafu, 2 seconds.
2 seconds. 1.
That's me pouring it out for the homies.
Thank you. And God
Yeah,
bless
I'm pouring some out, too.
Christos. Wish him no ill will. I hope he, I wish him the best in life. And it's unfortunate he has to carry around that suffering and attach it to others. But let's get to some real topics, Jack. Let's maybe do something beneficial with what, the moment we have left. Where would you like to take it, brother?
Well, I haven't said anything in a while. Yeah, what's up, everybody? But we were talking about mental transmutation and the law of neutralization and mental alchemy at the beginning. I don't know how it devolved into this, but maybe
Let's go back. Come on.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Cage. And actually, we can bring us right back into reality. What Provo offered there, that little moment, that little break, the intentional. Hey, let's pause for a moment. And let's change the energy just for a moment. That was beautiful, brother. And that is exactly, I think, what we were talking about, transmuting the energies, and brings us right back into the topic, the power of a positive mindset. It feels so much better to be positive, to be compassionate, willing to forgive the ass clowns who show themselves. I don't know.
Well, you already know if you're going to get Wizard or Christos, which Paul did a whole shit show on you just earlier, telling his people to come up here. This is what Paul doesn't like. When he is told he's wrong, he gets very upset. And then he goes into his triggered mode. But the reason Christos was here was obviously to impress his daddy and enslave you. That's the only reason.
That's
Hey,
what
I
I'm
want to take one more moment, Jack, to say how the positive. I'm on a positive with you. We've been on a positive for a long time now, and I think other people can do it too. Once they realize that they're just rolling in the dirt with the fat pig, who really doesn't want their best interest or anyone else's best interest, only his own. Then I think they might actually roll around to thinking, and maybe they won't make such an ass out of themselves, and then they'll be welcome here again, right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, I am the type that, especially if I see change, man, I know I can work together. I can get along with pretty much anybody. But it's people that don't want to allow themselves to get along with me, people who want to get along with me, but want me to think that they're way above me, and a little punk ass Christos. And I know it's from the punk ass Paulie, but I like Paul more than I do Christos. And it used to be the other way around.
So, Jack, why, can I ask you, why would somebody else who claims to believe in oneness, love, care, and such have such a fervent, frothing at the mouth, vitriolic sense of anybody else trying to accomplish the similar things? What's happening, Jesse?
Hi, everybody.
It makes no sense to me, man. It makes no sense. I'd be like, aren't we
Right.
all in the same game, even if we're using this different language?
Brother, that's what I've been trying to show. All this vitriol, all the ad hominem, all the attacks, personal attacks, the mischaracterizations, it's contradictory to what we claim. I mean, I've said it a long time. When it comes to rights, freedoms, and Paul goes into whatever property or something, but For me, it's rights, freedoms, and responsibilities. He and I were not talking about such varying, opposing ideas. We're actually talking about the same stuff, just different ways. He used the Tao. I used the example of the Christ.
We're talking about alchemy before. Vitriol is also an alchemical, like, abbreviation too. Yeah. It means by visiting the interior of the earth by rectification, you'll find the hidden stone, whatever that means. So it's saying something within you.
Damn straight, Cage. Yeah, the hidden
deal with
stone
this
would be referring
transmutation.
to the philosopher's stone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the chat as well. It's fascinating what people are. People are truly fascinating.
You having fun, Jack?
I'm learning. Yes, Jesse. I am an example. I've been learning how to have fun almost all situations, right? Because a long time ago I chose not to. I didn't want to allow myself, right? Rewriting the rules for ourselves, my path of goals. I wanted to redefine what was allowable for me. We can all do that. We don't have to allow ourselves to dwell in the negativity. We don't have to allow ourselves to carry around resentments and hate. Those are the tough ones, though, I admit. Because when people don't show they've changed, man. Oh, here. I love this shirt, by the way. So thank you, Toilet Bowl Order. It says, I choose love. It says, I choose love. And one side says, hold on tightly and let go lightly.
I love that, brother Talcott.
Well,
I love Toilet Bowl Earth too. What a good guy. I think Toilet Bowl Earth is a wonderful person. One of my favorite people I've ever met.
And Jack, where your shirt says I am, it's inside of an infinity sign, so it's I am infinite.
Thank you. You're right. You are right. Thank you.
It'd be something else as well, Jesse, right? What's the other thing behind him?
The flower of life.
So it'd be a total of what?
I am an infinite flower.
Infinite life.
I am an infinite life. I am infinite life. Yeah, it's great. It's a beautiful shirt.
What shirt are you wearing, Jesse? Show us. What is it? I want to compliment your shirt. What do you got, dude? Show us what's on it.
It's a black shirt.
That's it?
It's beautiful.
Sorry to disappoint you.
It's beautiful.
You don't got a logo or anything?
Yeah, it's got a little logo.
You got your own. Hey, Jesse, you got merch? You want to plug your merch real quick?
No, I don't.
You don't have merch?
No.
What? Why not?
You don't have merch yet?
No, I bought a shirt printing thing and want to do it. People have been asking for a long time, but basically what we've been doing for whatever the last 5 years straight on online has just been our service to humanity.
God bless
but
you.
But isn't humanity in serving them? Don't you want to clothe them as well?
Well, hey, actually, when I invested in the trademark, I had these ideas of licensing and merchandising, all sorts of shirts and hats and all this. But then I actually started looking into the textile clothing industry. Holy cows, man. There is so much mass-produced garbage. It's a problem. The clothing has become a problem for our landfills, not to mention the slave labor that's producing them.
Yeah, and the secondhand market that also tends to cause another part of the issue where you've got resale of used products or clothing that's not actually healthy for people to use, and then ends up in the third world. And then it causes a problem for their dumps as well, because it turns out like they'll buy shipments of clothing on the secondhand market, and then they can't use them once they get into port because their customs refuse them. All sorts of weird things like that.
Sounds like another war we need to end, brother Talcott.
Yeah,
brother. Yes. True. Imagine. One of these days, maybe I will spend some time and I'll try to create a list of all the wars that I know of. not just the military conflicts, the police and violent conflicts, but all of the quiet wars, the wars on drugs, wars on poverty, wars on viruses, wars on, we've got wars and wars and wars, but
I don't like how Lindsay Smith says loop. Like, what loop is it, right? I think how you solve a problem is by actually looping a problem, because you have to isolate the problem first and then circle around it and then slowly constrict it like a python until you solve it and squeeze the problem to a closure.
True. And we're not debating. A loop would be involved in an argument or debate, whereas we're having a philosophical discussion that may bring us back to the central point again. And by that point, we'll find a new synthesis of that point, which is what the dialectic is all about.
It's called the monad, or monad. Yeah.
Why does it seem that every
The dot
time
within the
the
circle.
government declares a war on something, the problem just seems to get worse? The war on drugs, the war on terror, the war in these countries, it never seems to solve it, but just makes it worse.
Well, war is a
What about the
profit.
war? What about the war within yourself? Isn't that the one true war that everyone has to deal with? Maybe
I
deal
don't
with
know.
that, and then you'll see an outward.
You know what? It's
manifestation.
funny. It's funny that you mention a war on yourself, like, because a war really implies people dying, right? And you're saying a war with yourself. Who dies? Your ego? You?
The old character. Yeah, it's in a constant death and rebirth cycle. Right?
yes.
Then is war by that logic a mirror of the death of the id?
Ooh, I think
Yeah,
so.
it is. It's all out. It's all an out for. There's nothing exists outside your mind, really, or the program within. So like, it's almost like a dream, right? Like in a dream, when you're experiencing a dream, right? There's a bunch of different characters. You're interacting with them, all environments, landscapes. It doesn't feel like it's all being generated from within yourself, but it is. It's almost like that. That's how we are.
See, I think the ego, like trying to kill the ego, is trying to kill something God created. So, even if you were to kill the ego, who would you be left with? God, right? And so that's still dichotomy. It's two things. You can't really kill an ego. You have to learn to live with it. You think you can kill something God made, right? Even if you kill a deer, right? What happens? Does the deer live on? Does it biodegrade into the environment and it becomes compost and it lives on through other people?
Yeah.
Nothing really dies.
To add to yours, Provo, real quickly. I'm sorry, Cage.
Dissolution. It's dissolution.
But let me add to Provo's point, though.
Alchemical terms.
And add, actually, alchemically, the infinity cannot be destroyed as it is an infinity. It's an eternal.
It's
there
just
is no beginning or end.
transmutation. Yeah, it's just a part of the cycle, right? It's not really, nothing really is ever killed or destroyed or dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So people trying to like kill their ego or kill they think they're going to win a war. They're Sisyphus, right? That is what that story describes. Like you are pushing a rock up a mountain and it's going to roll down on your ass every time you think you're going to kill what God created. Like you're ignorant.
Well, let's not forget
100%.
that what Sisyphus was why he was imprisoned with that was because he didn't complete the evisceration of the snake who found its tail by his father Kronos. Being time told him to go destroy the infinity, and he was incapable of it. And his prison sentence was to embody matter and the experience of life for all time.
Well said, Mr. Sound. Jesse, Jack, anybody else want to pick it up? I mean, I've talked quite a bit.
You're good, man. These are good conversations.
All roads lead back to Saturn. Sorry, Talcott.
Saturn? All roads lead back to, well, I don't know.
Oh, Saturnus amongst us, Saturnus amongst us, or does Tim play in where?
Hey, I was going to say all roads lead us to the truth. And I hope, I have this faith. It says that in the ancient writings that, the truth will come to light. And I think we are in this period of time where more and more truth collectively is coming to light. But that light, the light of truth, is causing a lot of people to reacting with their insecurities. We got to see our friend Christos over here today showing us his insecurities. Praise God, man. I am loving this life. I seriously am. I don't care. I really, truly, I love you all. I do not care what anyone thinks. I am loving my life.
Praise God, brother.
It's the most important thing, Jack.
I don't know where the fuck
Hallelujah.
it's going to go, but I'm serious. I think this is how we're supposed to live. Receiving our life rather than a chore or, this burden. Receiving our life as the adventure in learning that it was intended to be. And for us to learn, we've got to grow. We've got to push ourselves beyond. And someone said something earlier. It's a note I had written down. Breaking the habits of our old self. That's how we grow. The simplest way to grow is to break the habits of our old self. And once we break the habits of the old self, we become free to adapt, to grow, to travel in new directions, intellectually, spiritually, physically, wherever we want to go. But people are afraid to break the patterns of the old self. And I think that's something Provo said too about it's the conflicts within ourselves. It's projected out and manifested. And where we've got in the collective society where we are all spiritual beings with an ego inside of us, we've projected that out into the greater world. And the egoic systems, which is all the rules and laws, those are the rulers in high places. The belief systems and all the structures of laws, all the logic that's kept us down.
What do you think the significance of Saturn is, Jack, with what Cage was saying?
I don't know. I know that Saturn is a mystical part of many of the traditions and the old creation, some of the creation stories, but I'm not sure what you mean though beyond that.
Like the Saturnella worship, maybe?
Well, it's even in all Abrahamic religions, right? The Jews have the Tephirim, or how do you say it?
Tetrahedron?
No. It's like the little black cube they have on their forehead. It's like a tefillin. Tefillin, I think is called. Then the Muslims have the Kaaba. Christians have the cross, which is just simply so they call it a Necker cube. If you unfold it, if you fold up a box, it becomes a cross. Like unfold a box or whatever, it can be made into a cross. It's the same idea. It's like a
Saturn.
cube.
Yeah, it was one of the earliest of the holy images that represents, holy math and, that kind of thing, where you've got.
They love their cube, the black cube.
So you're saying that all the Abrahamic religions then are based on the Saturnella worship?
Yes, it all is. It's all Saturn time worship. Kronos is also Father Time. It's directly related to Saturn.
And I don't have any problem with this kind of worship on some levels, because at the end of the day, what are these things worship for? Their ability to extend society's ability to create. It's teaching you mathematics, structure, logic, and all types of other things. So a lot of times people are like, oh, these things are the worst. But without these things, I think society would have fallen many times, right? Like it is important to know these things in any level or facet and to say, oh, this is all terrible. Like it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater, in my opinion, when people attack it in some negative perspective.
And Provo, I would agree with you. Absolutely. I'm sorry, Kate, just real quickly here is that throughout time, there's been a symbolism to transcend language. So that maybe, when we talk about earlier civilizations, pre 12,000 years ago, this may have been the messages left over from our great ancestors saying, don't forget this math. Don't forget we already know some of these things, that this message would be passed down in something that future generations could understand without knowing the same language.
And some people say that, they should fix the problems, have to abolish all religions. But, there isn't a problem with religion when it has them connecting with source, God, creator. If they're connecting in any way, that's a good thing. And if, they wanted to abolish religions and that disconnected people from God, that would be a bad thing. It would be better to have these religions where people do have that faith and that connection than to not have it at all.
Hey, welcome, Assimilation or a Simulation, and Snafu, please.
No, I wanted to like jump on the whole Saturn thing. We did a whole video on it a couple months ago. Think of it, the Saturn rings, marriage rings. It's like the subliminal messaging of worship just from back in the day. It's like the Google, think about email, the Google email is actually the Masonic apron. The subliminal messaging have been around from, since the dawn of age. So the Saturn thing is really big with these elites in the worship and stuff. That's what Cage is getting to. He does a lot of videos on it.
Yeah, it goes into the numbers, right? Because it creates a hexagram or hexagon, right? So it's a 6-sided thing, and this is directly connected with man. For example,
Right, and it's and it's like the X, like Twitter. Elon Musk is the name. He changed it from Twitter to X, and then if you invert the X, what is the inverted picture of this symbol, the logo X, come out to? It's the Masonic symbol. So again, the Saturn thing, and it goes deep into our language, goes deep into marriage, like rings, ring of Saturn. It's just how they've broke down over the years.
I think I see this symbology a little differently, personally, because a lot of these things you can either have a pareidolik response to it and see these things by turning them over, or you can see the symbols that are more clearly in front of us. When the Masons want you to understand something, they'll put it right there in front of you in a place that's innocuous. And most of the time, like the obelisk or the pyramids or these things tend to be more, and I say this again, more a symbolism of holy math, of understanding that there are root numbers that we still use in particle physics that have to do with like the golden circle. These are things that are innate in the fractal and structure of the universe. So I think that this is more of a message rather than to see it as something insidious in most cases, not all, but because there's some symbology in this world and symbolism that we should pay close attention to that is clearly about power structure, like the obelisk.
It goes into geometry, really. That's what I was going to get into after.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, six is also like the sixth element, which is carbon, which is what they say everything is pretty much created out of, right? When there's 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons in them.
I do feel the more we ramp up with the optics of transition of power in the world, the more we're going to see these symbols come into play. The more people are going to wake up to the symbology.
But this whole you're talking about Masons, right? They love using this beehive symbology.
Well, not just Masons.
What structure do bees create? Right? They create a hexagon or a hexagram structure in their beehives, because this all goes back to geometry, right? Pretty much, if you have a bunch of bubbles of reality, how they'll form together is like nature always is most efficient, right? So it'll create a hexagram structure into it. So it goes deep into geometry, really. Geometry is the key to a lot of this kind of understanding of reality.
It's a big part of it, yes, Cage. And I don't mean to interrupt. Someone else, was that Assimilation?
Assimilation, yeah, man. I just want to say, thank you to Jack Talcott. Hello to Cage, Aaron, Jesse, Provoked Planet, Moose, and Snafu. I hope all you guys have been doing well and will continue to do well. That's what it's about. That's all.
Bless you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I feel good. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to continue the stream? It looks like there is other options.
Do you want to end the stream to jump on other streams? Like, what do you feel?
I honestly, sometimes I go back and forth because I feel a responsibility when this is my stream. Try and keep some order and pay attention to all the different parts. Whereas if someone else is hosting, how
about this? Hey, Jack, if Jack gets $10, $3, it goes that many minutes. You're gonna do a closure. And so you're gonna kick everybody off the panel. And unless there's a donation in the show, you gotta start pushing for money because these problems aren't gonna solve themselves. So all right, Jack, that's my thoughts. You do what you want.
And I think we should start a Jack or a Talcott Foundation for world peace.
I like that
that's
thought
the
from
group.
Provo. I like that thought from Provo so much that
Get out of your fucking imagined disagreements.
Nah,
I
I
would-
third
I
that.
would-
I third that.
Oh,
If they
yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep them, if they want to keep them here and keep the stream going, you know, pony
I
up a
would
couple
radically
dollars.
agree that if
Our
he got
poor-
like $2,000, that I would continue. I would try to continue for that long, but
True. Boy, I can
Yeah,
make me get some books out.
that could go the wrong way for me.
no, dude, it could go the right way, man.
Yes. Actually, you know what?
Like, you never know at that point. Like
The Jack Marathon stream.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I am the idea of a foundation. I've approached individuals before, but I haven't seen a lot of opportunities. I do have hopes of meeting with someone who can see the vision of what I'm trying to accomplish with this Live Without Fear. And I'm open to investors. I'm open to partners. I'm open to, I don't
Jack,
know.
have you ever written a grant before? A grant request?
No, personally, I have not. I know others who have, and that's an interesting idea. Actually,
Maybe-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, maybe you just need to sell everything you have, get a trailer and a truck, and put Jack's show on the road, and just go start meeting people, seeing where you can get to, and who knows what doors will open when that show goes on the road.
Jack's Road Show.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, are you a Taurus, dude?
I'm a Leo.
Oh shit. Okay. You just
He's
remind
gotta-
me of you remind me of my brother a lot, and he's a Taurus, and you guys look so alike that I like laugh about it sometimes. I was like, I'm gonna ask one time.
Interesting. Well, hopefully
Leo
hopefully
Pisces rising. I'm sorry, Jack. It's got to be
It's
right.
what?
I said your rising has to be Pisces, though, right?
Scorpion.
Scorpio. Okay, the other side.
Yeah.
I love astrology. Jack, where are we taking this? Oh, there we go, dude. 420.
Uncle Fatty, blessings. Thank you. First
Yeah,
donation
man.
for the Talcott Foundation for World Peace.
Thank you.
God, that would sound good.
And now, Jack, let's imagine something I think which is actually practical. You and everybody else coming together with a conclusion on any subject. So, what's something you wanted to discuss and get a closure on before we end the show?
That's a great question. What is, I mean, how do, closure. What is the closure I'd hope to achieve? I want to plant the seeds of thought with everybody that closure is available. We can close the door on the past. I mean, recognizing the past struggles, the past fears, the past inadequacies we have felt. And we can close the door on those, becoming whole, becoming complete in the presence. And with the wholeness, the completeness in the presence, we can have faith and move forward in whatever direction our hearts are leading us. That's
So,
not really
If I
solid.
could say one thing, I would like be very interested in Provoke Planets, Jesse's, just because I've seen a little bit of what they do. And I would suggest, I've heard a good tip once where it was like, before you go to bed at night, to carefully consider each and every one of your interactions prior to going to bed. That's one way. That's just one small way. Little bedtime ritual, you could say.
That reminds me of something Steiner used to teach this for everyone in his school. Like he would say it's something called the backward review. Kind of reminds you of what you're bringing up there. So he's saying each and every time before you go to sleep, when you're lying there about to go to bed or whatever, you go from the beginning of your day all the way up to that point of when you're going to sleep, and you kind of see throughout that day, see patterns of when you go unconscious and you're in like a reaction based state. And apparently that helps, becoming more conscious, and it does something to the subconscious apparently. And or you see if anything went out of the ordinary and how that happened, like what you were thinking before. It starts piecing together that it's all a fucking projection of the mind in a way.
helps to not repeat a little bit, I would
Yeah.
like default. But yeah, anybody else? I know Provo's got some stuff, maybe Jesse for sure.
How about building new roads, Jack?
Breath work is really, really important. And so if you are, shallow breather, then you're not actually getting enough oxygen in your blood. And when you do certain breath work, taking big, deep breaths and box breathing, and there's different techniques that you can use to focus on your breath, it seems to be able to clear your mind and then have a lot better, sleep, without having, any of these interactions that you may be, assimilation was talking about. You actually can clear that and not have to think about it throughout the night.
Yeah, they have something called Dantian breathing, which is like Eastern alchemical breathing techniques. It's like the lower, upper, and middle Dantian, which they call elixir fields, where energy could be moved around and transmuted in a specific way. There is something to it for sure.
Yeah, I personally have found I used to not be able to like have a meditation process. I could just get into a spot where the breathing, got me to meditation or meditative states. But I've been using the gateway process from the Monroe Institute. Now it's on YouTube, and it is really escalated my level, I would say, to find a peaceful mindset and to relaxed state of being and a greater feeling of oneness and happiness in general. It's been making changes for me personally, and I think it goes back to the breathing. It goes back to the things that like the what it promotes, the hemisync process, where your brain basically gets on the same wavelength and you're able to take in more. And when I come out of it, I feel better. I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. I'm in the midst of a 90-day cleanse too, so it's doing something for me, honestly.
Hey, good for you. Cleansing, breaking the habits of our past, allowing ourselves to focus on a period of purification. I'm trying to do that myself as well.
Yeah,
It's right here, Jack.
Stuff like the gateway process or these other things that you can read or learn. The most powerful tool is to create your own, right? So there's a structure behind it. But if you build your own, keep that to yourself and utilize that, you'll see more results a lot faster if that's what you're looking for. Yeah.
I'm curious what
Create your own system. Yeah.
Steve, what is that in the back? Building a bridge?
It's a little visual, for what you guys are talking about is, all this positivity and this changing and, how you're going to live your life now and cleansing. It's about building roads to new places, covering up old shit with new stuff, moving forward, going on, like all the other crap, that you put up with the past few days with, Paul's, Paul's little cowards, you know what I mean? I just coming to give you some love, man, because you're still hanging strong. I mean, you're stronger than all of them fuckers that come over here that try to fuck with you. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just sitting here being entertained, watching these roads being built. People moving on, traveling, getting away from the nonsense.
Hey, Steve, did it put a big smile on your face when Talcott called him a little bitch boy?
Yeah, that's okay. You got a donation for that one.
Respect. I love the analogy you brought though too, Steve, because that is kind of the topic. We are here to build new roads, build new paths, trailblaze, right? That's who we are. We're trailblazers in the time of now.
You don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So I wouldn't forget the past. I would definitely remember it.
Yes.
But definitely forgive, if there's something you have to forgive, or that's the resentment, blame, and false idols are going to stop a lot of forward shit. You can't just move and assimilate into somewhere else and just be like, oh, it's different. Like,
yes. Learning from the past, but not letting the past carry us down, drag us down. That is, I'm telling you, that is for what, in the end, what transformed my inner state of being was that shift, changing from focusing on the past and focusing on the negative to looking towards the future and intentionally trying to recognize the good. Because I tell you what, the bad is there. It is easy to find the bad in other people, in situations, in
Yep.
experiences.
That's the easy road. Yep.
Yep. Hey,
Yeah.
Jack, can I quote Dr. Ruth Westheimer here, which it just comes up in my head, where she said, when you are ready to make love, leave your crap at the door, and it will still be there when you get back. Because, by the way, and I had this, nobody wants that shit anyways.
I think Jesse made an extremely crucial point. I have found in my own personal experience that the breath is just the most underrated link. It is the most underrated link to by many levels, man, and that goes into like the meditation even, like for fun. Before I've thought, how many breaths in a row can I remember that I'm doing while I'm doing like work, and just being present with that breath. Being present with the breath is really like, if anyone knows anything better than that, like I am all ears.
I got a little bit of a. Go ahead, Jack. You were going to say something.
Oh, no, please go ahead. I was just going to.
So here's one thing I'd like to say. Maybe you're right about everything you're saying, but at what point does something like that become a negative? Do you think it's ever possible for somebody to become too, I would say, elevated or awakened to the point to where they start making detrimental life choices, like buying crystals to go into debt, or maybe going on a number of excursions to yoga retreats to where they think they're so awakened and they're so in tune with their breath, they actually start to make negative life choices because they're not really being practical or rational with their life decisions.
Anything out of balance could be detrimental.
Yeah, like if I was buying crystals and going into credit card debt, I would hope to God my friends would like slap me. For real, like it would be fine. They'd be like, dude, you don't need $70,000 worth of crystals, dog. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Hey,
Make your own store after, I guess. But yeah, there's a good quote about that. It's like you have your feet in the ground firmly, but your eyes still, looking upwards, and that.
Yes.
So you have to be, have a foundation in reality, and not, but you can also look into the esoteric or the hidden or stuff like that. But you also have to have a foundation, not let it get the best of you. They call them luciferic beings, right?
Can I bring something to attention?
They get so diluted by like this spiritual shit that they're no longer living in fucking reality at all. So it's just unbalanced people.
I think that's us, and I can speak for myself here, where a lot of times people become too attached to the things outside themselves, gaining knowledge, gaining understanding, trying to figure out how the world works, where they don't even try to figure out how their day is, how it begins, who they are as an individual and as a person. And a lot of people spend more time learning about things outside themselves than learning about themselves. And I see a lot of experts who spend 8 hours a day researching a topic, but they don't even spend more than half their day learning about themselves, what they eat, how they talk, their mannerisms, their behaviors. And with that, Joe Cool, my favorite brother from another state. Don't know where you are, but how you be, dude? Light up a blunt, dude. It ain't real. Roll up. Let's go.
That's a simulated bong, bro. It doesn't even exist.
That's right. This is from the future, man.
Only because we observe it. Only because
it looks like a Toro, man. I think I got that same one. Yeah.
The 3 chambers on it. Yeah.
And
does it have an octopus?
Go
I
ahead.
just
I'll
wanted
You
go.
might have
to
went
go
over
with
my
what
head. Doesn't have an octopus. What the fuck?
Never mind.
Hey,
with what
Joe,
Provo
cool.
was just saying though is about people that are, focused on just maybe researching everything outside. We don't know. We only know what they present themselves at the time, because you don't know what they're doing at home time, in their off time. They could be working on themselves just because they're focused on certain things, and that seems to be a majority
I
of their
wasn't.
focus.
I
We
wasn't
don't.
directed towards you, Jesse. I wasn't
No,
saying
no, I'm
anything
saying I
personal.
know it wasn't me. I'm just saying in general, like you people that are focused, we don't know what anyone does. And to judge someone on,
Not
focusing
judging
on
you,
just,
Jesse.
I didn't say you were.
I know, but what I said wasn't about you in any way. Just so you know.
I wasn't responding as it was in me in
Okay.
any way.
All right. Cool. Then we're good.
Yeah, no, it's just in general. I'm talking about like for people, we don't know what they do in their private time. So just because people are super hyper focused on certain things and that's all they talk about in public, we don't know what their lives are in their own private world, whether or not they're actually doing meditation and breath work and things that they just never talk about because
True and
it's their own
untrue.
Then they're
personal
not your
experience.
friend.
True and untrue. It would show, at least to some degree, if you're perceptive, if they had those habits, right? If they examined themselves, it would show in other ways. You wouldn't actually know when they meditate and shit, but it would show in some ways.
For those who know, they'd see. But
Yes,
the untrained eye, the ones who don't know,
I would
there's a
agree with
lot of
that too.
confusion. And I agree though too. It's what the world has taught us. The world can be so fast paced, and we've conditioned ourselves to be very reactive, very quick to assume or jump to conclusions. But really, we don't know people other than the moments of our experience and what they may happen to share, telling us or showing us.
I'm feeling like we do. I'm feeling the exact opposite, man. I'm feeling like we do know people. I don't know, like motherfuckers can't hide.
Shout out
I
CBA.
it might be a little of both, right? You don't really
Yeah.
know, but
But do we
damn, people
assume that
reveal themselves so much.
People will at once, or I'm not saying this correctly. Do we assume that everybody will end up on this same page at the same time?
No.
I don't, right? I assume that if you're looking for the same thing, people will cluster, but not everybody's looking for the same thing, and I don't think everybody's going to end up in the same spot. That's
Hey,
just me.
Jack,
Look at
hey, Jack, as a part of my reparations, can you put Joe Cool in my place and put me lower?
Reparations. Well, that's a
Hey
start,
man,
motherfucker. Hey, Jack, can you post my cash app for promo?
that was funny.
Damn.
Good response, Joe.
Jack, actually, I think you need to put him top left.
You know what?
Make him chairman. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh,
You
shit.
should never give black motherfucker the power, nigga. Down with whitey, kill whitey.
Damn.
That's not helping your cause, Joe.
That's not helping.
Right.
2 seconds.
Joe
in
just showed up
charge.
and got everything, man.
Right.
Hey,
That's
Joe.
all right. I'm all right with it.
The second question is, wait, Jack, did you do that because you felt guilty or something? What's going on?
I'm here to serve. I'm
If-
here to please.
If Joe renamed the White House the melanated house, I'd be totally down with it.
I bet most white
Hey,
motherfuckers
Joe,
would. Right? Any
everyone in
cool white
chat, please
motherfucker would smoke
block
for
me in
sure.
chat because I said Joe Cool might have named his name Cool because I figured black people like cool menthols. And then they're like, oh, you're racist. And I'm like, Joe knows I'm not racist. I hate everyone equally. So for you to fucking
It's got to be
block
called
me
the
for
House of
fucking being
Cool.
racist is
Listen.
not a true statement, I'm not racist.
I love saying it when I think a motherfucker got a slither of racism in him, right? I got no problem saying it. But I've never gotten that bad. You're not in for a second, Snaffle.
No, I know that. That's what I found funny. So M blocks me because she thinks it's racist, but that's why she wanted that wrench so bad, right? M, to block people, to Nazi.
I don't know about all
Hey,
that.
Joe, I've got a question for you because you just brought up a word that is just bandied about like on the internet and in Discord like it's a softball. What do you think about lack of use of the word bigotry, and it's how it's just disappeared in our jargon as
I never
compared
saw the word
racism.
bigotry on the pyramids. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen is the new world will be Gentiles when
Those
shit
are-
hits the fan. Bigotry. It's not going to be a racist thing. It'll be a Gentile thing. It's going to be it's going to be a religious thing, not skin
Why,
color.
why would bigotry disappear though? And I don't think you have finished the question, but
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry.
That's a different show, Joe.
It ain't trigging if you got it.
What about prejudice? Is anybody up here prejudiced?
Yeah, right. There's another very defined term in between all of these things, because you can provide your prejudice that's not racism, and a bigot who, you know, unfairly just dislikes other people, and you can use that as a specific for any one thing. But we hear this one term used, and racism is an institutional or a structural thing that has to do with belief systems altogether. So it's often I wonder how you feel about this as well, because you're about my age, I'm sure, and it's like when I grew up, there was definitely bigots and the acts of racism and people who are prejudiced and prejudice laws, and you know, but now we just use like this one term to blanket everything.
Oil is has a prejudice to water. It's always on top. That's science. That's science.
Sound a little gay to me. I don't know.
Actually, it's never on top. It's always equal. So water will always be equal.
You got it. You got it.
But I don't know. I was wondering how you feel about it, because I just have a feeling like it's a reduction of language, and not that there should be a minimization of anything. But
I don't think they should reduce them. I think we should stay with what they mean. I'm prejudiced, and I'm okay with it. I hate that it sucks that people have put that racial component on there, but I prejudge motherfuckers all the time. Right? If I see a guy,
I'm judgmental as fuck, dude. I say,
right. Judgment keeps us alive, I think. You know,
I'm willing to say right now there is no like bloodline better than another, and that's just what I'm gonna say. And that's not to open it up to
I got
cry
a lot
about
of
it.
black
Genius is a
people
gift. That's
a lot
why.
of black people would disagree with you. Generally speaking, white motherfuckers are more racist. I don't know what the fuck it is. Blah
You
blah blah.
ever watch Bobby Hemmett?
So when we talk about racism, can I clear something up too?
Yeah. As soon as I finish this sentence.
Okay, go ahead, brother Joe. Cool. Sorry for interrupting.
But there are black motherfuckers that believe you guys are a different animal, different creature, bound for hell, made by scientists. I mean, missing DNA,
it's
just
up to us
crazy shit.
It's up to us to prove that we're not as pink as they see in their vision.
Cats like you do though, easily. You barely even got to open your mouth for, just your energy gives off, the proper vibe.
What were you gonna say, bro? About?
I want Joe Cool to finish his whatever he was gonna say. Joe
I
Cool,
was
you
done.
have as much time as you need, brother.
No, I was done. That's all I want to say.
What would convince those people that, you know?
I don't know. I try.
Lies convince people. Actions and lies.
They say it's more easy to trick a person than untrick them. Right? I haven't figured out a way. I'd spend an enormous amounts of time doing that shit.
I think the world is so unbalanced right now. It's hard for people to see past it. And once the world starts to become more in balance, where there isn't this difference in segregation, I think people's, barriers and walls will start to come down and look at the people that may have oppressed their ancestors, in a lot more better light, that it isn't them, because now we've actually made a difference in the world and came together.
I don't think anybody, that's a myth, I think, that black motherfuckers think that white people are bad because you own slaves or something in the past. No, we think you motherfuckers let shit go on now. No black motherfuckers dwelling on shit from the 60s and shit. We don't get no fuck. We trying to tell you that it's fucked up for black people right now, and fucking you can't get 10 white motherfuckers to agree with you.
I'm snapping to you right now, brother. Hey,
you got 1, 2, 3, 4, almost.
I like what Joe Cool's saying, and there's a lot of things we could talk about: slavery, indebted, things like reparations. I don't know what it is, Joe Cool, but I think we could maybe direct the conversation towards something more positive, I'm going to toss it to Jack Talcott and say, Jack, reflect on what was just said, give your thoughts, and then where can this conversation go a little bit higher?
Actually, I loved the question that started this, regarding the use of language, how bigotry they have. I hadn't recognized that, but it's not a word I've heard a lot.
I hadn't thought about it either.
Can
Bigot
you
and
take me higher? Sorry, Jack. I just had to do that.
all right.
I think he wants you to
The
move him up a square.
well, those terms, they really describe what's going on in this world.
Which is probably why they move them around, right? And hide them or highlight some and change the meaning of others. But I'm sorry, Jack. That was logical.
What I'm thinking is these words really describe what's happening today. Person who is strongly and unfairly dislikes other people or ideas. Why would someone choose to be strong and unfair in their negative outlook?
Ignorance.
Fear.
Programming, fear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Fear
Trauma.
and programming conditions the ignorance.
Hold on. I think HMFIC Steve is a little hurt. He came into the show, never was addressed. Then he left, but he was playing some like blue collar porn at the beginning, which I didn't really appreciate, seeing these dump trucks dumping. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so can we introduce HMFIC Steve? I feel
Hi,
like he was a
Steve.
little bit.
Hi, Steve.
What's up, Steve? He's the head motherfucker in charge.
We love you, Steve.
We got a lot of mods. Put his link in
Hold
the chat.
Yeah, in the back chat, he mentioned he'll be right back. So I think Steve stepped away just a moment.
That's good, Guru.
I did ask him about his what was it, blue collar porn?
Yeah.
And he gave the analogy of building new roads, right? I don't know. I think it's time to wrap up. Friday night.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. I
Catch
didn't
you guys
expect to hear
later.
this one.
Thank you, Jack. Always doing good. Everyone else, just keep doing good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
See you later. See you,
Thank
Jack.
you.
See you, everyone. Have a good night.
Blessings.
Yeah, peace to
and
everybody.
thank-
Hey, give
Peace
Steve
and love,
some
brother
time.
man.
No, Moose is gonna be quick. Hey, I want to take at least 5 minutes. So he left.
He dropped in the back.
All right, Jack. Let's break it down, brother. How is tonight? How are you feeling?
I actually feel pretty good today. Thank you. Even though we had the appearance and participation of some trolls today, some individuals who don't have any clarity in what their purpose is. Christos is coming to mind. I think today was pretty good. I think we did flush out the topic, some ideas of positive mindset. We didn't really get into the power, into the real benefits of it.
You know what? I think just to maybe add my 2 cents on this, the positive mindset is people talk about ideas and thoughts like there's something that's to be captured like a butterfly in a net. But in actuality, if you're trying to capture it, you have to build the net, right? So you need to make your body right. You need to, flow state. He's interrupting my monologue. But I'll just say this, Jack. There's a real thing to building your body to perform the way we're describing people to take actions. It is not easy to take an action if you're under the influence of a drug or under the influence of stress, right? Which we're all victim to, or under the influence of God-made circumstances, maybe a tornado or a hurricane or maybe a snowstorm. So there's a lot of these things which we're trying to maybe preach people to practice, but it's not easy to catch the butterfly if you're not building the net and working on who you are as an individual, because you can't respond to stress correctly if you're putting your body under certain circumstances which inhibit your ability to perform, right? We're asking people to perform. And in order to perform correctly, you got to start at the foundation of who you are. And I think it was Aristotle who said, be your own doctor. You got to take care of yourself.
Yes.
You gotta be your first doctor. And what that means is when you notice something is wrong with you, you go seek help. It's not that you have the answer. It's that you make the diagnosis, right? And you understand that there's something bigger than yourself, which might help you. With Jack, Jack, let's introduce flow state. That's my last statement, but maybe it goes on a little bit longer. What's going to happen?
I don't know. Welcome, Flo.
Thank you.
You showed up as I was shutting down.
Yeah.
But welcome.
But I'm here now.
I know.
So you're still shutting down. Okay.
I am still shutting down.
I was trying to put that silent guilt on you.
I saw that.
Okay.
I see. You're very good at what you do.
That's what she said.
Oh my goodness. Hey, has M, did you schedule something yet?
She scheduled something. Yeah. Yeah, she's trying to get me to come again. But
oh, you're already going.
Yeah, I'm live. I'm trying something new because last night I restreamed someone else's stream, and then she axed my restream because my comment, my chat was being rude, and she doesn't know how the internet works. So I tried something else where now I'm just sort of streaming me going around. But
hey, and I see what's happening here. Hey, everybody, Flow State's live right now. So there's a mod in chat. Drop Flow State's link. Let's get this guy's numbers pumped up. Drop the likes. Give the memberships. Before you do that, understand Jack's not doing this for free. Give a donation. Give a subscription. It does matter, right? Like you guys might not understand this, but Jack does this every day. Yeah. So you know what? I tip people $2 to $3 sometimes. If you feel like you want to tip your
never
content
tipped
creator,
me.
Yeah, not yet. But what we're working on here is Jack creates content. So does Flow State. Help these content creators go to their channel. Flow State's live. Jack's in his show, and support them. Right? You don't need to do it now, but plan on doing it in the future. With it and with that, Jack Talcott, I'm going to let you close your show with Flow State. God bless, brother.
Thank you, brother. I was actually looking to figure out how do I forward this again. I did it successfully the other day.
And this isn't why I came here. Like when I set this up, the last time I looked at your thing, there was a full panel. And then I saw somebody drop off. I was like, sweet, there's an opening. I'll go live and then join. So
no, it was where is it? Is it in the redirect? Is that what it is?
Yeah, when you're in YouTube.
Yep, under stream customization.
Yeah, and then it is redirected. I think it's the second category from the bottom.
Oh, that's under settings.
Okay, so on the left, in the left menu, there's the second option down, and then you go into that option, and all the way down, it's not the bottom sort of option, but the second, the bottom.
I see.
If I remember.
Check other channels.
But well, that sort of changes my plans. I guess I'll well, I did just drop the link. Ooh. And
DC girl, thank you. I appreciate that. I was gonna do this for M, forward it to her, but you're already running.
Well, fucking
anyway. Anyway, I'm going to kick you out, Flo.
Okay.
May join you over there soon. I'm going to send the stream that way too, I think. Right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, I'm on a different tab. I'm trying to do something. Ta-da. Maybe it went through. Maybe it didn't. Kick me out.
All right. Blessings. Brothers and sisters, all of you today who joined the panel, who joined the chat, who just hit play and are catching up with what's been happening. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Today, the topic, the power of a positive mindset. I hope to think that you are seeing some of it in application, some of this idea of maintaining a positive mindset with me, because that is what I'm practicing. What I'm sharing, what I'm trying to share out here on these streams are some of the things I've been learning in my own life experience, through my own studies, through my own practices, my own meditation, and my goals. My goal is to help create a better world. And brothers and sisters, what creates a better world for me? What creates a better world for you? It's pretty obvious. It's shared understandings. It's shared experiences. It's recognizing the similarity and the value that is, the value that's offered to each of us. Moment by moment by moment, we receive the truth. We receive opportunities for love. We receive that breath. We talked about all sorts of things today, including breath, life, love. Brothers and sisters, sincerely. Oh, I've been doing a poor job of this too, but all of you who contributed, DC Girl, Uncle Fatty, Lizard Tree, sincerely, blessings. Your contributions are gratefully received. And brothers and sisters, sincerely receive my appreciation, my gratitude. It's what I can offer. I appreciate all of you. Have fun. This will, for those interested, if I did it right, we're going to redirect over to flow state. And brothers and sisters, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again, and God bless us all.